A couple of days back, Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi created a flutter by stating that it is more important for us to build toilets rather than temples. Considering the fact that Mr. Narendra Modi is a hardliner, he is presumed to be the poster boy of Hindutva politics. This kind of a statement means nothing except for a political miscalculation. However, if indeed it was not a political miscalculation, then by making such sort of a statement, what was the real intention of Mr. Narendra Modi? Let us first of all understand that for a politician, the most important thing is to win elections. Politicians eye a certain constituency and they try to cater to the needs of that constituency so that they can win elections. Mr. Narendra Modi, he's pretty much like other politicians, and all politicians operate on the principle of opportunism. This statement of his was nothing but plain political opportunism. Now, before I come to, come and analyze this particular statement of his, let us go back in time and let us, see what he said in September 2002 when he was holding the Gujarat Gaurav Yatra in the aftermath of the 2002 Gujarat riots. So on the 9th of September 2002, Mr. Narendra Modi held a rally in Bahuchari. And over there he made a statement. He said that they call us Hinduwadis just because my government has allotted 8 crore rupees for the development of the Bahuchari Devi temple. This is what he said over there, and then we went on to say, what should we do? Should we run relief camps for them? Hum panch hamare 25. That is where he made that derogatory remark against the Muslim community. So this statement makes it pretty clear that in 2002, Narendra Modi's core constituency was the militant Hindu constituency. And in order to portray himself as the Hindu Hriday Samrat, he was cashing in on the fact that his government had allotted 8 crore rupees for the development of the Bahuchari Devi temple. At that point in time, he was not, even thinking of allotting 8 crore rupees for recompensating those whose lives had been lost in the Gujarat riots, for compensating those whose businesses had taken a beating due to the riots, but he was cashing in on the fact that his government had given 8 crore rupees for a particular temple. This is what he said in 2002. Now let us come forward and let us come to November 2008. And in November 2008, the Gujarat government launches this demolition drive of all illegal temples in Gujarat. And in the process, they razed 200 temples to the ground. They destroyed 200 temples. Now this particular action of the Gujarat government, it put them at direct loggerheads with the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, which is the religious arm of the Sangh Parivar. And Mr. Modi goes and he has a meeting with Ashok Singhal, who was the chief of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and it is decided that the Gujarat government would no longer destroy any illegal temples. So the 2008 incident, it just occurred 5 or 6 months before the general elections in 2009. And again at that point in time, Mr. Narendra Modi was eyeing militant Hindu constituencies. He was looking for those kind of voters. So he decided, no, let us freeze this process. Let us not destroy any more illegal temples. And he comes on this decision after meeting a person who's got no constitutional authority. Mr. Ashok Singhal is no governor, he is no prime minister, he is no president. Still he meets him, and the chief minister of a state is forced to say that we will not destroy any more illegal temples. Coming forward, we come to July 2012, and around that point in time, Gujarat High Court had passed an order on a petition filed by the Islamic Relief Committee for Gujarat, and it basically said in that order that the Gujarat government, it will recompensate for the religious monuments destroyed during the 2002 Gujarat riots. Now, there were more than 500 such monuments, which included 273 Islamic shrines, 241 mosques, some churches, and, to be precise, 19 temples. Mr. Modi's government, they gave this argument in court that Article 27 of the Constitution is coming in the way and we cannot recompensate for the monuments destroyed during the riots. No, now Article 27 of the Indian Constitution, it basically says that people will not be forced, will not be made to pay taxes for the promotion of a particular religion. Now their argument was this particular reconstruction, or the cost which we will pay for reparation, it is against the mantra of secularism. Now there are two things which we need to understand over here. One, there were monuments belonging to basically bulk of the religions, since they were mosques, they were temples, they were churches. But the important thing is, Mr. Narendra Modi has never tried to bury the ghost of Godhra. He wants to live with the ghost of Godhra, because that incident actually gives him legitimacy amongst the militant Hindu constituencies which he eyes. And so he decides that irrespective of the fact whether 19 temples were destroyed or not, he will not give any compensation. Now the Gujarat High Court, it passes an order which was against the wishes of the Gujarat government, and the Gujarat government loses the case. Thereafter, in July 2012, they take the case forward. Mr. Modi's government, it refuses to pay for the damages cost, and they take the matter to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court again refuses to stay the order passed by the Gujarat High Court. So basically, till now, temples were very important for Mr. Narendra Modi. In 2002, he was proudly proclaiming, I have given 8 crore rupees. In 2008, he stopped destruction of illegal temples. But in 2012, when it came to paying for the damages cost to over 500 religious monuments, which included 19 temples, Mr. Modi says no. Why? Because if he had gone forward and given the reparation money, given the compensation amount, then it would have appeared that the Hindutva hardliner is somewhere down the line trying to make up with Muslims and sounding apologetic about 2002. So over here, he does not care about the temples. Then let us come forward. Let us come to June 2013. In Uttarakhand, there's this humongous natural calamity. Thousands of people die, and the Kedarnath temple, the Kedarnath shrine, it is devastated. It is totally destroyed. Mr. Narendra Modi, he goes to Uttarakhand and he meets the Uttarakhand Chief Minister, Mr. Vijay Bahuguna, and after meeting him, he puts a tweet on Twitter wherein he says that the job of reconstructing the Kedarnath temple, it should be given to the Gujarat government. He is the Chief Minister of Gujarat. The calamity is taking place in Uttarakhand, and he is saying that the job of repairing the temple, it should be given to the Gujarat government. Now, so far his government was arguing that Article 27 comes in the way of repairing such monuments. We cannot pay for the monuments which were destroyed during the 2002 riots. But now Article 27 is no longer coming in the way. Now he is willing to repair Kedarnath temple, because again he wants to cater to the larger Hindu voters. He wants to cater to the militant Hindu constituencies. Now, after he becomes the prime ministerial candidate of the Bharatiya Janata Party, he realizes that now it is time for him to mellow down, to make peace with the Muslims, so that he can garner votes all across the country. The BJP has no presence in about 15 to 16 states. For Mr. Narendra Modi to become the prime minister, they need to gain votes in all these territories. So Mr. Modi comes and he says, and in a very calculated manner, he says it is more important for us to build toilets rather than temples. A similar sort of a statement was made by the Rural Development Minister Jairam Ramesh. And at that point in time, Rajiv Pratap Rudy, who is also the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, he condemned that statement. But when Mr. Narendra Modi makes such a statement, no condemnation whatsoever from the BJP. The only condemnation which comes is from VHP, VHP stalwart Mr. Praveen Togadia, who says there was no need for the BJP prime ministerial candidate to equate temples and toilets. So the point is very clear. If you analyze what happened in October 2002, in November 2008, in July 2012, in June 2013, you will realize that Narendra Modi somehow or the other has been using temples as a political issue. He does not care about temples as such. If he was so much caring about temples, then why did he not compensate for the 19 temples destroyed during the 2002 Gujarat riots? Simple. If he had done so, he would have been made to compensate for 241 mosques and 273 shrines. So he decided, let us not compensate for any of these. So a politician any day, as I mentioned earlier, he will run after votes. And since Narendra Modi's team is trying to repackage himself as a great unifier, consolidator, they will come up with more such antics in order to position themselves as soft liners. They will not take the hardcore Hindutva line, because they know that if the BJP wants to, set the ball rolling in 2014, they need to get Muslim votes, and hence Mr. Narendra Modi will try to position himself as a secularist rather than a hardliner, in the as we move, or as we approach the 2014 general elections.